It's the grandson of right thought. The scriptures say, prove all things. Prove all things. So when people hear that, especially Bible scholars or people that read the Bible, they take that to mean that the things that they're saying that come out of the scriptures, to prove it by showing in the scriptures that that's what the scriptures say. That's one way of looking at that scripture. But remember, I told you, Abba Yah does everything on levels. On levels. Because he understands that he can't give you steak if you're a newborn baby, guys. He has to give you the sincere milk of the word so that you may grow thereby. Then you can get steak and eat meat. You grow teeth like a baby. It's the same thing. I was going to do you the same way. But when you get into the steak and the meat part, then the understanding of the words is going to grow. You understand? Just like your diet is going to change as you grow. Prove all things means to know what everything is. Know all things by personal experience. That's what prove all things means. To be able to not only prove that what you're saying is true scripturally, not only that, but to know what everything is by personal experience. Therefore, when you speak on it, you will be able to speak with one who has authority. You'll be able to speak to the soul of another being who's going through that circumstance because you have been through it. So then you can prove it, your words to be true, by the fact that you know it intimately, by going through it, experiencing it. You know by personal experience. See, a lot of preachers or pastors are just talking about things that they have no idea what it's like. There are struggles in life they've never had to endure. There are things they don't know. So then they can't appeal to another person who's going through it. They don't have the understanding. You see? So what may have looked like in your life to be something very devastating that happened to you was that so that you could know it by personal experience, so that when your brother comes to you who needs your help, you can lift him out of that water back onto his feet so he can walk on the waves again. Saying, brother, I know what it feels like. I've been there. When that storm came up in my life, I started to sink too. But Yahusha caught me, lifted me back on my feet, taught me the truth. Now I can do that for you. You see, by personal experience. So these tribulation saints go through that so that when they come to rule, they can rule in righteousness with the power of understanding. You see, King David was a unique king because he was in the trenches with his men. He hid. He was starving with his men. They wanted to kill him at one point because things were so bad. You see? David went through those experiences so that when he became king, he could rule in righteousness. He could be humble enough when he made his mistakes, which he was. You see? The same thing for you righteous. What good is it for you to see a poor man but not to ever know what it was like to be poor? So you don't know what he needs. But what did you need when you were poor? Now you can rule. I was a poor man, so now I know how to help my brother who's poor. I know how to lift him out of that because I know what he needs. A brother who's lost his family, how do you know if you haven't lost yours? But if you have and you're strong, he can look at that and say, wait a minute, brother, you lost your family? I did. All of them. Woman and all the children. And you're standing strong like this today? That's right. Because he said when you're founded on a rock, it doesn't matter when the storm comes, the house won't fall. And I've proven that, see, with my living. Because I lost it all, brothers and sisters. My house, my wife, my 5 children, my mother, my father, my sisters, my cousins, all of my friends. And here I am still with power and might, strength, gladness in my heart for Abba Yah's salvation. His truth that comes into me to allow me to share it with you guys and to know that when I share it, that it's true, that it's confirmable. That is the greatest satisfaction that there is for man. Is to speak Abba Yah's truth with authority and power and might because that's what he was created for. And I'm honored to be able to stand in that place. So what did I care about the losses that it took to get me there? If you seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, then the rest shall be added unto you. Add it. Well, then add it. Because I'm seeking first the kingdom of heaven every single day. So then you don't worry about losses when he says he's going to add. When Abba Yah adds, no man can take it away. It says when he gives a gift, he adds no sorrow with it. Once again, we that know these things prove these things. See, which means test them. So in other words, test all things to see. Most of my life, I was what people would call a goody two shoes. I was scared to do anything. I didn't want to smoke anything at all. I never took any drugs. I never drank any alcohol. So then that means I didn't know a lot. I didn't have much understanding, which made me a very judgmental person. Oh, yo, wicked y'all niggas over there smoking? Damn, y'all, man, damn, that's all the fuck y'all do. All y'all want to do is get high. Until you test it and prove it. Oh, now I see why y'all do this shit. That's how I was. I hit weed for the first time. Found some weed, y'all. I never had smoked weed before. I had a friend who tried to get me to smoke one day. He was real adamant too. Come on, man, stop being a bitch and just hit it, man. He had the shit in the bong. I'm like, no, man, no. So I went on and hit it and held it in my mouth and then blew it out. He said, you didn't even breathe it in your lungs. You're wasting my weed. And y'all that know weed, you be mad as hell when somebody wastes your weed, don't you? They be holding your blunt, you be looking at it and shit like they talking, you like, you gonna pass the bitch back while you talking, bro? Okay, thank you. Shit, you letting that bitch burn, bro. You letting that weed burn, bro. You talking too long, nigga. It's just the truth. And I found that it didn't do me harm. Now, I don't know about other people, but it didn't do me harm. It actually blessed my life, made me healthier, upped my vibes, lifted my mind. So I proved it to see, which means tested it. Same thing that I showed you guys about the health. Well, if I do this, let me see the results. Proved it. Showed you guys the photos. That's the proof. That if you eat like that and work out like I did, that's what you'll look like. So you have the evidence. I didn't just talk about it. I did it first and then told you guys about it. See? Like real men and women should do. Test things and then they know. So that when you teach somebody, you can teach as one that has authority. You got a big ass burn mark on your hand and you tell somebody about fire, you know intimately by experience about fire. Versus somebody who just thinks it's hot because they were told that. It's hot, so don't touch it. Okay, so they never touched fire. One nigga did touch it. He got the big ass burn mark to prove it. See, prove it. That means he knows it. That's really what prove means, guys. Get the ideology out of your mind. Go back to the Hebraic mindset, the original mindset of the scriptures. The Hebrew, the spirit, and then you'll understand. It's about testing this world to see what is good and what is bad for yourself. Then you'll know. Then Abba Yah's word will be made true in your mind. See, that's what he's saying. Even in Malachi, he said, test me and see if I don't pour a blessing that you can't even contain it. It will overflow on you. Test me and see. See, prove me. So Abba Yah gave you his word and then he gave you the world and said, okay, test the world and see if the world can give you what you need or if my word will. And then after you test this word and see that that's what's getting you through each day, after everything's been ripped away from you. See, same thing with me. When I thought my whole life was falling apart, I lost everything, guys. I went from the top of the world, living good, man, riding my motorcycle 140 miles an hour on the freeway, no helmet on, got my locks flying, feeling like I'm the shit. 200 pounds, pure muscle, feeling like I'm the shit. Lost all that shit in 1 year, which looked like a horror, was tightening me up and making me pure gold with experiences that have made me a true man, that I can relate to my brothers now. Not look down on them, but condescend to their lower state with understanding and say, I understand what that's like to lose that. So when you're doing this to cope with your losses, I don't judge you for that. I understand. But I'm a living testament that you don't need it, brother. All you need is Abba Yah's word to get you through. Just like he got me through and made me strong, which is what you see today. You don't see me weak, do you? A testament, a living proof. See? So we test things, guys. That's how we learn them, and that's how we know them. And after you've tested it all in life, just like Solomon showed you, after you've tested it all, then you'll find out that it's just keeping Abba Yah's commandments. and doing what he said do. Silouan, Mr. Allah.